One of the more underrated parts of Donald Trump's second term here in office could be a resurgence of respect for law enforcement, of recruitment in law enforcement, our military as well. That is something that we may see and we may look back on in 5, 10, 15 years and say this moment was enormous for getting people to love, respect, and want to be a part of law enforcement and the military in this country once again. And you saw it on display on Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, DJ Daniel, the 13-year-old young man battling brain cancer, became an honorary member of the Secret Service. How do they find this guy, DJ Daniel? Well, last year, a video went viral of DJ Daniel in his police getup. You know, he's a young man who's always wanted to be a cop. And he's basically being embarrassed and harassed by some of his peers in a parking lot. They're twerking around him. They're acting like, strippers in a parking lot. And they're basically saying to DJ Daniel, arrest him, arrest him, arrest him. Here's what it sounded like.
Arrest him! Arrest him! Arrest him! Arrest him!
So that's where someone around Donald Trump saw this video online and said, we got to get this young man to our joint address to Congress. And that's what obviously happened. It was one of the best moments on Tuesday night. Amazingly, Democrats could not even stand up for DJ Daniel. It's one thing to, I guess, hate Donald Trump. It's another thing to say, I can't even stand for a 13-year-old cancer survivor who was made an honorary member of the Secret Service. It was really a despicable display on Tuesday night on this front. So DJ Daniel becomes an honorary member of the Secret Service. And he did a sit-down interview with the White House yesterday. And I want to play this for you because these are the kinds of stories that I think America needs to hear to bring respect back to law enforcement, to try to help backfill police departments all over the nation, which are struggling mightily right now, including right here in Kansas City. We're down, 400 sworn-in officers, and they are grasping at straws to find new recruits. I'm not knocking the folks who are new recruits, but the reality is this. The quality of candidate is not what it was a generation ago. It's not even close. You talk to longtime KCPD officers, they were like, yeah, there were hundreds of us lining up, taking tests to become cops. Now it's like, man, we just got to get people in here. So DJ Daniel getting more press yesterday, the White House sharing his story on social media, and take a listen to this young man. He's 13 years old. He's dealt with brain cancer. It's not clear how long he is going to live. And the perspective that DJ Daniel, this young man from Houston, Texas, has is the kind of perspective and maturity that people 3 to 4 times his age do not possess.
But you want to know the craziest part? Because my mom bathes me and my brothers all together. And out of nowhere, I locked up. And then my dad was calling my name. And I started going to the slow thing. And he said, stop playing with me. And I started... And then I started to act, I ain't gonna lie, I started to act slow. And then as soon as he said that, we was speeding all the way, running lights, going to the hospital. And then next thing you know, I was seizing on the table. They said, nah, we gonna have to go in his brain tonight. Ever since then, I had 13 brain surgeries. And that's how many times my personality has changed. And that's something that you don't hear from a terminally ill child. They had 5 months to live. I'm gonna keep on going until my gas tanks run out. And that's when God calls you home. You never know when God's going to call you home. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my dad. I know he's pretty proud of me, and I'm pretty proud of him too. And I'd like to thank President Trump, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today.
13 years old. You tell me, 13-year-olds who have that kind of outlook and perspective on life in general. How many 26, 39, 52-year-olds? 2, 3, 4 times his age, who have that kind of perspective on life. This is the perfect young man to highlight right now when you talk about trying to uplift people in the country and get people to once again look at the law enforcement industry, consider it, love it, respect it. DJ Daniel is also a young man of color. I don't think that hurts in this case, given where this country has been on that issue, the lies that have been promoted to various communities about law enforcement in Kansas City and around the country. It's the perfect story at the perfect time with, I would say, the perfect individual for that story in DJ Daniel. Yet you had Rachel Maddow ripping DJ Daniel and the story, calling Trump disgusting for calling out DJ and his cancer battle. And DJ's family wasn't having it. His father came out and told Rachel Maddow that she's got bad energy. She does. And this is how, Trump keeps getting gifts from his political opponents, even when he's not looking for them. But you combine stories like DJ Daniel with what you're also seeing in the Air Force. I saw this came out yesterday as well. The Air Force recruitment soared to a 15-year high in the last few weeks. More young Americans signing up for the Air Force. Numbers we haven't seen going back to the mid-2000s. This is all happening in the wake of Donald Trump's victory and the Trump administration getting into office. There's like a Top Gun, Reagan-esque element to all of this that may be playing out, where people suddenly find that renewed love for country. They want to serve their country. They want to be in law enforcement. They want to serve their communities. And man, do we need it. All the woke nonsense that has been an attempt, I believe, to destroy those who want to serve, those who want to give back, those who want to put their lives on the line, that's over. Those days are done. Now it's rah, rah, America. Get in here, be part of the greatest country known to mankind, and let's make sure that we are serving the people of this country in the best way possible. And we're not going to send you to forever wars. We're not going to just put your sons and daughters on the line for some country on the other side of the world that no one could point out on the map. We're not going to do that. We're going to do things that defend and protect America first and foremost. And we haven't had that feeling in this country under Democrats or Republicans since before I was born. Top Gun is what, 1986? It's going back 40 years now. And George W. Bush had a little bit of that after 9/11. There's no doubt there was some of that after September 11th, 2001. But by the time the Iraq War started, less than 2 years later, a lot of that sentiment has fallen by the wayside. Because especially that war was obviously highly controversial. People were not down with the cause in many cases on the left and the right. And since then, it's just been 20 years of decline and malaise on the issue. Obama didn't help the cause. Trump 1.0 was pretty good, but it wasn't really a staple of that administration. And then Biden, forget it. Sorry. Come on, man. But if we are bringing that back to America, man, I mean, we are going to be off to the races here, John.
Kind of hit that nadir there when we did the Al Capone thing. Bush is after the weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Here they are. Oh, no. They're over. No, they're not here either.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, what happened there?
And that was under a Republican, and it was not good for morale in that line of work. And it's been downhill since then. But if we're getting that resurgence with great stories like DJ Daniel, Air Force hitting 15-year highs in recruitment, man, we may be back off to the races. And we need it right now with the way that China's bulking up over there. 913-408-7957. Mayor Quentin Lucas is going to be here at the bottom of the hour. We got a lot to talk to him about. It's very interesting oftentimes what people do not say versus what they do say. And what I found fascinating about the mayor the other day is that he did not have a single post on social media, or at least on X, about Trump's speech. And that is very unlike him. And I think I may know why. So we will talk to him about that and much more in 20 minutes on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio. So to piggyback off of what Bill just talked about there, this was an opinion piece that came out of the New York Post. Robert Holden wrote this. As a lifelong Democrat, I never thought I'd see my party embarrass itself so much. That's the headline of the story. Starting off here, as a lifelong Democrat, I never imagined I would watch my own party embarrass itself so thoroughly and so publicly as it did during Tuesday's joint session of Congress. From obnoxious booing to childish protest signs to a sitting member of Congress having to be physically removed from the chamber, Democrats turned what should have been a solemn, dignified event into a bad reality show. And for what? To go viral on TikTok? To book a slot on MSNBC to brag about their, quote, resistance, end quote? Nothing was more disgraceful than when my colleagues refused to stand or clap when 13-year-old DJ Daniel, a brain cancer survivor, was made an honorary Secret Service agent. The boy beat cancer and dreamed of protecting the president. That dream came true when President Trump honored him. A beautiful human moment that should have transcended politics. Democrats used to be the party of compassion, the party that stood up for the vulnerable and celebrated stories of triumph over adversity. Now what? We can't even clap for a kid who beat cancer if the wrong president is standing beside him. When Trump said biological men should not compete in women's sports, Democrats acted like he proposed banning Little League. But most Americans, including plenty of Democrats, agree that protecting women's sports is not radical. It's common sense. The same thing happened when Trump called for cutting waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. Democrats stayed silent. Are we now the party that supports waste, fraud, and abuse? That is the point. The derangement syndrome has reached an 11 out of 10, and now, yes, they look like the party that I guess supports waste, fraud, and abuse. What other conclusion are you to come to? When you can't stand for that, when I guess you're supporting, what, the $8 million for Lesotho to do God knows what with?
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
Nobody's ever heard of. And the Lesotho prime minister or the foreign minister is now very upset with Trump. So Ukrainian flags, so last week, man. Lesotho flags are going to be in hot demand in certain parts of your neighborhood. Just keep an eye out for that. If you try to get a Lesotho flag, you might have to be on back order for like 6 weeks now. That's going to be the new resistance movement. It was Ukrainian flags, and they're coming to your Facebook profiles, too. Just watch. That list.
Coming to a wall near you.
Coming to a Facebook scroll near you. The Lesotho flag. I stand with Lesotho.
Both of them.
I'm going to do it actually right now.
Are you?
I'm changing it.
Yeah, just leave it off the KCMO. Well, you know what? It might be funny on the KCMO Facebook page.
Should we?
Yeah, do it. Yeah,
right.
Put it up on the KCMO Facebook page. Put a picture of the Lesotho flag and say, do you stand with Lesotho? And let's drive our audience to the KCMO Talk Radio Facebook page. Oh, that's going to be great. It's actually a cool flag. It is. Green, white, blue, little, I don't know what it is, insignia there in the middle. It's neat. But no, I do not stand with Lesotho. I don't. I'm sure some people are going to get triggered by it because they're going to be like, why is KCMO standing with Lesotho? Just ask the question. That's all I'm asking you to do, Mark. Just ask the question. All right? But that's why the night was so bad. And then, as O'Reilly pointed out, Trump mocking Elizabeth Warren, also known as Pocahontas to her face, had people like Tim Walz, remember him, former VP pick of Kamala Harris, very much bent out of shape on cable news last night.
The idea of a president standing at that rostrum and throwing a slur at a United States senator in the middle because you disagree on policy is absolutely ridiculous. So
Wait. Pump the brakes there, Timmy Tim. A racist slur is Pocahontas. No. You tell me, what is the more racist thing to do? Make up your ancestry to get jobs, or then mock the person who made up their ancestry for decades to get jobs? She was checking off that Native American box because Papa had hot cheekbones for how many years to get that teaching gig at Harvard? And somehow Trump's the racist for mocking her over making up her ancestry to get herself cushy gigs? Come on now. You've got to be kidding me. You just can't take any of this stuff seriously. They're in a world of hurt right now. It's become the party of hall monitors, theater kids, the HR department, and passive-aggressive signs. That's kind of what it's become. I mean, there is not a drop of testosterone in the entire infrastructure of the movement right now. And they wonder why they find themselves in the place that they're at today. It's like, you got to look in the mirror first and foremost. And that is not being done.